All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is General Greene. Please give this video a like and share. As predicted, total chaos to start the year in 2025. I defined it as maximum PTSD. I told you that the next 4 years under Donald Trump, no fault to him, but would be extremely chaotic. It would be absolute chaos. There would be emergency events, natural disasters, World War III, nukes, economic collapse, bank runs. The list goes on, and all of this is playing out like a drum, perfectly predicted as we predicted, and just another reason to get your money out of the freaking banks now in a stable asset, a safe asset, a new bank you control with absolute perfect sovereignty, which already owns all the real estate. We've already done it, ladies and gentlemen. All glory to God. We had several new members hit massive tiers yesterday, and we had several new individuals come in. I just wanted to thank you all. You are the resistance. Absolutely amazing, serving our amazing community. We've got husband and wife coming in with another 120K. They will be hitting a major tier. You know who you are. Congratulations. Cynthia just came in with an additional 30K last evening in crypto. God bless you. Pleasure to serve. Cynthia, you are amazing, and I enjoyed our conversation via text as well. You're really cool. And also, we had my ballers and club members, Darius, come in with an additional 60K. Asked me yesterday, he said, Christopher, should I take profits? What did I say? Yes. Came in with an additional 60K, just crushed it into the 150 unit tiers. Got a beautiful family. God bless you, sir. Absolutely amazing. And also Ben and Elise coming in with their first 50K, soon to be in the 1,000 tier Diamond Up Baller level. So congratulations, you all. You guys are amazing. And I just want to encourage you, before we get into the news, just know God has got this. God has got this. He is in absolute sovereign control. And what we're all being positioned with now, I believe, are once-in-a-lifetime opportunities to absolutely dominate. Because of the disruption, because of the chaos, there's actually a huge opportunity to take advantage of that and to make money and to pivot, leverage, and profit into the uncertainty. So, for example, Donald Trump will be inaugurated. Let's pray that that goes seamlessly, that there's not another curveball or crisis, that something doesn't happen to him prior. Let's pray that it's peaceful. But from what we understand, in 7 days, Donald John Trump will be elected the president of the United States. And this is why, while California is burning to the ground, while California is still on fire, while California, whether or not it's arson, pre-planned, who knows? Maybe it's immigrants that came in and they just decided to light things up. I mean, we're seeing a lot of people yield to that and say that could be a possibility as well. I mean, think about it. If you were trying to do like another 9/11, wouldn't it be easier and far better just to light the match, God forbid, and let the wind do its work? So, I mean, look, I'm not saying that's the case, but it is very suspicious. Also, the economic damage in California, which could well exceed $200 billion, the worst catastrophe and economic disaster that could surpass even Hurricane Katrina. God forbid. It's already estimated at $150 billion. If we compare this to Lahaina, it was just $5 billion worth of damages. Now we're looking at maybe $200 billion plus, is enough, honestly, to collapse the entire stock market, economic, financial system, and to systemically bank run all the insurance companies, even though they canceled a lot of their policies in advance before the fires even took place. There's still going to be massive economic damage and a decade at least of rebuilding. So God forbid, as I said yesterday, if anything else happens, like an earthquake or another natural disaster, California could be set back 100 years for all we know. Donald Trump's only going to be elected for 4. So I just want you to keep this in mind, that this is a massive catastrophe. And also, you know, there's been a lot of speculation in California, especially in real estate in recent years. So I want you to imagine, you know, people that are 95% leveraged in a $30 million home. Well, now what are they going to do? let's say somebody had been speculating on one of these mansions, right? Because they've got debt. See, we don't have any debt, ladies and gentlemen. We're built on the cornerstone rock of safety and the foundation of Jesus Christ the King. God told me to build the digital Noah's Ark with no bank debt for a reason. We have no debt. And what we have coming is a massive debt collapse as being signaled by the bond market, the 10-year Treasury note bond, also hitting near 5%. This has increased corporate bankruptcies to a new record high that we haven't seen since 2008 and 09. Consumer credit card debt at all-time highs. Mortgage debt at all-time highs. And of course, the country itself inherently bankrupt statistically and mathematically, having printed over 40-50% of our currency notes in the last few years since the previous lockdowns in 2020. Now, look, history isn't always going to repeat the exact same way, as Mark Twain once told us, but it will rhyme. And if we look at Donald Trump's last presidency, that was probably the most chaos I've seen in my entire lifetime. I mean, never before in American history did we have millions of small businesses slaughtered and closed. Never before had I ever seen toilet paper pandemonium and food rocket off the shelves. Never before did I see Americans so panicked, throwing and getting in fights at Costco's over toilet paper just so they could wipe their butt. A massive exodus, pushing real estate prices in surrounding states like 3 to 5 times their normal value. Now we have an even bigger crisis. So real assets are going to continue to soar. They're going to continue to skyrocket. Real estate in California, so these are just supply-demand economics, for example. You've got the same Hollywood elite that live there, right? You've got all these wealthy people. The middle class is probably leaving. This is the last straw. So they're going to pound all the other states like Arizona and Oregon and Texas and Florida, possibly raise prices even higher as the giant exodus continues. And then the elites that still remain will rebuild, but of course the insurance companies aren't going to cover a lot of these properties, so that'll increase insurance rates and the prices of the properties and land as well, continuing the hyper bubble of massive hyperinflation, of which you will own nothing and be happy. And again, this shouldn't be a surprise because this is what the elites told you that they were going to do. And I told you that this was the plan in 2020. That's why they locked you down. Just one big giant wealth transfer for the oligarchs and the elites, and it engineered a hyperinflationary dollar collapse, which they fully intended, and what they're positioning now is a debt collapse and bank runs for eventual confiscation, bail-ins, economic collapse, stock market crash, and then, of course, the reset into the new system, which they've already previously engineered and planned for. Now, anything with debt will be confiscated, in my opinion, by governments worldwide. We saw this in the Great Depression in 1929. We saw it during the Dust Bowl in the 1930s. We saw this in 2008 and 09 most presciently. And I believe we're going to see it again in 2025. Also keep in mind that there's only a few years left before the 2030 reset. So this is going to be wild. And again, if you're looking for like peace and no disruption, I'll just be honest, America isn't it. If you're in America and you've got all your eggs here, I'm just telling you, it's going to be very vitriolic. It's going to be extremely chaotic. And it's going to be the greatest disruptive period in world history the next few years. My advice, if you're just looking for, peace and safety and calmness, I'd probably go overseas, honestly. Really, that is my advice. The rest of the world and most parts of the world could care less what's going on in the United States cuckery lands right now, and they're just moving on normal business, and they're kind of laughing, honestly, at the United States, and they should be laughing. I mean, look, we just saw Donald Trump, who's supposedly been under attack by the deep state, his entire life get really chummy with Barack Obama, and they're laughing, having a pleasant conversation during the Carter funeral. So, like, if you think politics are real, you're probably not paying attention. They all look like they're on the same team to me. I mean, I don't know. If someone was destroying my entire life and all my businesses, and they were attacking me and threatening me with indictments and all this kind of stuff, I wouldn't be chummy with them. I probably wouldn't even show up. So again, it just kind of proves the point. Also, with 7 days left before Donald Trump gets in, hopefully peacefully, let's pray for this in the upcoming inauguration, of which they've militarized all of Washington, D.C. It's all locked down. It's barricaded, huge walls in front of the White House, the Capitol buildings right now, from what I understand. The question begs, is Donald Trump going to follow through with all his big promises? So, for example, is Donald Trump, and I'm curious what your opinion on this, is he going to round up 11 million plus undocumented immigrants, according to the actual numbers, in America? Will he use the military to do this? Is there going to be some kind of martial you-know-what declared? Is he actually going to follow through with what he said? Because remember, he said he's going to boot all these people out, close our borders, build a wall, and then he also said he's going to build an iron dome. So I don't know, the wall's still not up, but I'm just wondering what your thoughts are. I don't think that that's realistic at all. I'll just give my opinion. I think Donald Trump will backtrack, and I don't think any of these undocumented immigrants are getting booted out. I do think he might move the military in, but it won't be used for illegal immigrants, if you can catch my drift there. Again, when the emergency crisis hits, your rights and Constitution and Bill of Rights are null and void. You saw that in 2020. Arnold Schwarzenegger told you to go F your freedom. So we know where these people stand. We know who they are, and we also know what they're going to do. So today's also been an amazing buying opportunity across the board, and Bitcoin and crypto. I'll give you my opinion on what's going on with that. I bought more today. It was a great time to get aggressive. Bitcoin was trading as low as 89K. It's already bounced back. Really, I think what we've seen is just liquidations of both longs and shorts on the highly levered component of the market. Keep in mind, a lot of traders are trading with leverage. So BlackRock, using their advanced algorithms and simulations and the AI and all the technology that you little people don't have access to, is going to get rid of all those longs. And they're going to get rid of all those leveraged shorts. And they're going to push them out with high levels of volatility like they do in the stock market. And then they're going to pump everything to new all-time highs. So that's kind of just what I think is happening. And I do expect a lot of volatility this year. I mean, honestly, if you don't have a stomach for it, this is why most people aren't rich. I'm just being honest with you. If you can't handle risk, volatility, and you don't have a long-term game plan, and you don't believe in yourself, frankly, you don't deserve to be rich. That's why most people are broke. That's why most people aren't Bitcoin millionaires. And I just want you to keep in mind, Bitcoin was trading at 3,500 a couple years ago. I was throwing chairs in the pool telling you to buy it. Most people didn't. A lot of you did. That's why you're rich. That's why you're in my project. That's why I've got so many members at the 1,000-unit Diamond Nut multi-million-dollar tier, because you actually did take my advice. You got rich. You've made a lot of money. And you're going to continue to get very, very rich. Again, Bitcoin is likely to be trading 2 to 3x its current valuation this year, but it's going to be extremely violent on the ups and downs. So it's honestly not for everybody. If you want complete safety, if you want a guaranteed 1,000x, you want a proof of life physical, conceptually already designed, already bought, already acquired, 1,000x community, where you have complete control and your money's out of the bank and you're land banking along with me and my team, then buy real estate with us. I mean, again, there's no downside. We own all the real estate. It's completely diversified. There is no bank debt. Versus all these other investment classes, which are highly leveraged and, of course, are dealing with tons of debt, will, I believe, in the next great crash be confiscated. And we could have a next great crash in 2025 on Wall Street. That's not going to be a surprise at all. I mean, I'm not going to be surprised if Wall Street bankers are throwing themselves out of Manhattan skyrises. That wouldn't be a surprise at all. So let me tell you also where we're headed and where we are going. China, of course, and please follow me at AMTV Media on X. That's my official account. Just a reminder, I'm never going to reach out to you on Facebook and friend request you. Be careful of imposters. I am a public figure, and that goes for my father. The only way you can directly speak with us, of course, is with our official phone number at 808-442-2934. Call or text my dad, Papa John, and also our official website, islandproject.com. There's no other way to contact us, and just keep that in mind. That's why I always tell you that. And Tell you guys to be vigilant out there and, make sure you fill out your membership apps today so that we actually do call you. And you can sign those and onboard as quickly as possible. So what's happening now is China is really going to take advantage of America's chaos. So all of America's enemies that hate the United States and the American people are going to take full advantage of bankrupting the United States, of creating geopolitical chaos, of engaging in takeovers and attacks. And this is what we're seeing with China now. Now, keep in mind, all the oligarchs like Elon Musk you're following are deeply embedded with the communist CCP. So I just want you to, full disclosure, I don't do any business with China. I'll never do business with China. I don't even ever want to visit China. China is an enemy of the United States, in my view and in my opinion. Elon Musk, he's cozy with Xi Jinping. I mean, they're best buddies. They pretty much make out. He's got multi-billion-dollar loans with Xi Jinping and the communists. I just want you to keep it in mind. These people, in my opinion, are traitors to the United States Constitution, the Bill of Rights, and America. So worship them at your own demise. Now, China is preparing for a Normandy-style attack and invasion, according to the Telegraph, as we've also seen cables cut recently, halting all telecommunications, and is getting ready for what I believe is an imminent invasion of Taiwan. And again, this has been a major prediction of mine. China will absolutely attack, win, dominate, and acquire Taiwan. America is going to have no say in it at all. They will not defend the island, and Donald Trump, once he's president, will accept that news and then pretend to get all cozy with Xi Jinping as if he stopped World War III or something. But China's going to win. Just like Ukraine has been conquered by Russia and it's kicked the crap out of the United States and the West. Vladimir Putin's got complete control and domination over Sevastopol, north and eastern zones of Ukraine, and Ukraine has been split economically and with its borders, just like North-South Korea. So again, the only thing that's going to happen there is Trump's going to waltz in with the pretend art of the deal. Russia wins, and everyone's going to be sold that it was a good thing that the war didn't continue. But you lost. American taxpayers lost. All the money went to Ukraine, not to Lahaina, not to Los Angeles, not to you. They could care less about you. And again, I wrote this on X, formerly Twitter, last night. Why would you keep your money at a bank when the bank hates your guts? Just kind of common sense. Why would you keep your money at institutions that hate you? Why would you keep investing in a system that's attacking you and your companies and your businesses and your families and your friends? Why would you keep putting your money to work with a system that's locking your ass in your house? These are logical questions. You should be moving your money to Christians like myself, and you should be investing in no bank debt assets that are unconfiscatable during the impending debt boom and bust, which is coming to the United States of America imminently. Also, it is important to note that Donald Trump will defend the U.S. dollar. As I said, his primary mission as president, whether he wants to or not, the black suits, the men in black, are already in charge and telling him what to do, and they're going to push him around, and that is to defend the U.S. dollar. So although I'm very bullish Bitcoin, and Bitcoin is a new reserve standard, and it is taking over the world, and I expect Bitcoin to trade at $200 to $300K and soon to be $2 to $3 million a coin, and will be used to securitize mortgages and real-world assets and all this. I am also not fancifully ignorant from the understanding that I know that all presidents, whether or not it's Trump or Barack chumming it up at the Carter funeral, are all going to do the same thing, and that's defend U.S. fiat, trash, dog shit, light it on fire, fake, infinity, hyperinflationary currency. Okay, so don't get too excited thinking Trump's going full-blown Bitcoin reserve. Like, they are moving that direction. Bitcoin is the future and blockchain is the future, but they've got another plan for all you peasants out there. And the plan is a digital, trackable, surveilled digital dollar equivalent, of which they'll be introducing soon, probably this year and the next, during the next emergency crisis event, the next lockdown that will be declared, or economic financial collapse. Also, in addition to that, I am expecting a tactical nuke. I'll pray against it, but I believe I'm correct about this, to go off in Europe very, very soon. That is the plan. Trust the plan. There also will be likely a major city worldwide that will go dark. There will be some kind of test launched by governments in the form of an EMP, of an electromagnetic pulse or other kind of space force disturbance. And I expect that to also happen under Donald Trump's tenure. Of course, it's probably mostly going to just be a test. Again, corral the cattle, get everybody, get their panties in a bunch, and then seize more power and world domination over the people that they control. I mean, same thing with AI. All of you do not have access to the elite's artificial sentient intelligence. AI has already reached, I believe, the singularity and, sentience to a large degree. You will never have access to that. Only the elites will. And only the oligarchs will have the inside track and inside technology and information that has only been revealed to them by the three-letter agencies in DARPA. And Wall Street and BlackRock and the oligarchs will use that to their advantage, not only for profit, but to dominate the American people and the people that they rule over, just like any king or queen. So again, I mean, you're using like a very simple model of OpenAI's ChatGPT, only available to the peasant class. And I've said that for years. They have far greater technology, and it's only reserved for them. It's national security, guys. They're not going to release really key, useful tools to the American public. They're only going to keep that and hoard it for themselves. So, the big theme is just more chaos, more disruption, more disorder, more natural disaster are going to occur. Long-term rebuilds, economic collapse, debt collapse. I mean, that's the biggest thing I could tell you is that get out of debt, buy real assets, get into sovereign assets immediately while you and your family still can. Trump, of course, is going to be implementing massive hyperinflationary tariffs worldwide. He's also attempting to open our borders into non-foreign illegal states like Canada and also Greenland. So that, of course, will dilute sovereignty of the United States, dilute our borders, and dilute the Second Amendment and, of course, all of your constitutional rights. That's just what happens when you open up borders. So again, we've got that to look at. I do expect Donald Trump to backtrack on the severity, like he backtracks on most things, on the severity of the tariffs imposed and probably limit it by industry or product. So inflation's going to continue. Unaffordability is going to continue. The fact that most Americans can't afford rents, housing, food, water, energy will continue. All of this is the plan. And of course, they're resetting you into a robotic, transhuman age of which AI will replace most human jobs and which the elites will no longer need you. They won't need you to serve in the military. They're not going to need you in manufacturing. They're not going to need truck drivers. They're not going to need consultants. Most Americans will be not needed. Now, of course, they will sell it as a good thing. They're going to tell you things like, oh, it's going to be an unlimited age of prosperity. That's not true at all. It'll be an unlimited age of prosperity for the oligarchical elites that own all of you, okay? And it will be a depression for everybody else. And that's how the world works. I'm sorry, it's unfair. You were ruled by kings and queens and oligarchs, and that's just what it is. It's no different here in America than it is in Europe, and it's no different, it's never been any different throughout civilization's history. I mean, just take a look at Rome. So, the biggest thing you can do is take dramatic action for you and your family, is to safeguard everything that you've worked for, right? It's to be optimistic and be looking for solutions, getting out of debt, okay, participating in the blockchain revolution while it still lasts, moving your assets into sovereign control, of which you and your family have peace of mind and unlimited 1000x upside in a world-class investment that you're actually in charge of, removing your money out of the failed institutions and banking system, which is in the process now of a giant economic debt time BOMB that is about to go off very, very soon. I'd also like to hear from you. What do you think? What other kind of curveballs and or chaos and or emergency declarations in America will be declared next? How much more PTSD can the United States take? And do you think Donald Trump will follow through with an 11 million plus bodied aggressive deportation in the United States, or do you think he will backtrack? I'm also very bullish all real assets, of course, gold and silver. I expect to break probably new all-time highs this year. And those are really just the main bullet points. I'd really be looking at the bond market right now because that is signaling a collapse. Again, America's broke. All the banks are bankrupt. They don't have any reserve requirements. They don't have your money. When you deposit your money into a bank, you should read the agreement because that money is no longer legally yours. That's a fact. What you become is an unsecured creditor to the bank that now owns and has direct access and control over your own money. Go look this up for yourself, and I hope, I pray, that you'll actually read the literature because that means that you don't have your money. And during the next economic financial shock, of which the president will declare executive emergency action, which keep in mind during wartime, World War III, nukes, or the spreading of your rights are removed, and the Constitution, of course, in the Bill of Rights is null and void at that point. So again, what do? You take economic, financial sovereignty over your own life. You get your businesses. You get yourself personally cash flowing. You educate yourself as much as possible. You pivot, you leverage, you profit, you diversify. You create an asset allocation like I've taught at school for nearly 20 years. You own Bitcoin, you own Ethereum, you own XRP, you own some of the other risk assets that I recommend. My 1000X pick, you get into that, right? You own real estate with no bank debt prior to the confiscation of all debt assets. You participate in blockchain 1000X launches along with us. And you join an outstanding God, faith-first community of Christian billionaire ballers fighting the deep state on your behalf that actually do what they say and have actually proven that with a long-standing track record. Again, many of you said it was impossible to build a $33.5 million no bank debt asset of beach, oceanfront, ski lodges, and soon-to-be international diversification. That's already been accomplished, and it's done, and it's largely already been completed. So when you become a member now, you can actually visit, take advantage, use properties when you're hitting tiers, and you can also have complete confidence that your money is safe during the economic crisis and disruption ahead. Again, do you have insurance? Do you have an insurance policy to the upcoming dollar debt collapse? What is your game plan and what is your action? Have you diversified out of the banks? Are you in islandproject.com? Have you clicked the buy now button? Have you filled out a 5-minute members application? And once you do that, we'll get a tickle of which we peer review and will accept you in based on your acceptance into our world-class investment. You can also call and reach out, call or text, or leave a voicemail with my father, Papa John, 808-442-2934. That's 808-442-2934. Not financial advice, just millionaire advice. Again, I recommended and invested in Bitcoin under $1,000. I told you all to buy at $3,500, and I'm telling you now that the number one investment in the world is Island Project and tokenized real-world assets and real estate with no bank debt. This is the digital NOS Arc for a reason, because we've expected the collapse of the U.S. dollar, America, and largely the greatest disruption in world history. We're not going to be surprised with emergency executive actions declared soon. I'm not going to be surprised when a nuke goes off. I'm not going to be surprised when there's the EMP test. I'm not going to be surprised when any of this happens because we predicted all of it, planned for it, and most importantly, we're pivoting, leveraging, and profiting from what we already know is ahead. Capital gains, income cash flows. You can actually use the properties, touch the properties, and we're tokenizing in 2025 a multi-billion-dollar proof of concept asset class and we're the first in the world to do it with all the proprietary blockchain knowledge and technology that we've been developing over the last several years, and largely I've been doing for nearly 20 years now. God bless. Jesus Christ is King. Expect massive disruption, and we are now tick-tocking to just 7 days before the most contentious inauguration we've ever seen in American history. And Donald Trump will just have 4 years, just 4, and then it's over, then it's done. Then there's going to be another process of politics again. So we should pray that he can get as much done possible. Again, they've done so much damage to this country in recent years that I would argue it would take 20 years to prepare the United States of America into a period that was not the fourth turning. There's a great book, and it's called The Fourth Turning, and it talks about how we're in the fourth turning now. That's massive disruption, massive economic collapse, massive stock market crash, massive technological disruption, and opportunity, which is why I've told you for years now that the single best opportunity is in these new technologies like fractionally owned, soon to be tokenized, no bank debt real estate, which you control and have absolute sovereignty over. Because I mean, what else are you going to do? Keep your money at a bank right before the bank run? I mean, that doesn't sound too smart, does it? And again, you want to have your money and other assets like ours, where you have your private keys, which you all have once we tokenize, and you're just in complete control. And in our private real estate investment, all of our members own a non-dilutable asset class and a no bank debt asset. It's fixed in supply of 33.5 million. And then, of course, we're tokenizing in the biggest liquidity event that you've ever seen. And we'll be doing that this year. Again, during the disruption, during the chaos, during more emergency declarations, during financial lockdowns, and during panic. Because the best times to make the move, as what you've heard before, is when there's BLOOD in the streets, which is why earlier this morning, most don't have a stomach for it. I just bought a ton of more crypto. Because again, that's how you make money. You buy other people's fears as they wash out retail. Retail gives up. It's the same thing in business and life. It's the secret to success. You got to have faith. You got to take dramatic action. And you also got to believe in yourself. I believe in all of you. God bless. Jesus Christ is King. Hope you have a beautiful day. I'll keep you posted on any new shock events coming to the American people. But those have been my major predictions for a very long time, and they're all playing out right now. So expect it. Expect a debt collapse. Expect Trump to defend the dollar. Expect panic and pandemonium. And expect financial lockdowns, bank runs, and a systemic economic stock market meltdown coming very soon. All been predictable. It's all planned. And it's exactly what the elites want to transfer you to the new system, because they're smarter than most people and the American people. That's why they're in charge, guys. Now, again, I'm not giving them too much credit. I'm just saying in general, not you, my audience. But most of the American people are buying their way into submission and doing what they're told. And it's why they will reap what they sow, and they will be slaughtered, just like in, the fables and myths of old times by the wolves that have shown their faces. And they all showed you who they were, foaming from the mouth in 2020. So again, if you didn't resist then, you're probably not going to resist now, and that's your fault. So grow some diamond nuts, onboard the digital NOS Arc, join the safe haven. We've already set sail. And give my dad a call at 808-442-2934. Roll over your 401ks, your IRAs, and your retirement accounts while you still have and can still self-manage those in a self-directed account in our Founders Project and Founders Round, of which there'll only be one, and only our founders will get the 1000X token launch. Up here and down here. Links up here and down here. And tomorrow, we have had more onboards this morning. I will mention those names in the next upcoming video. Congratulations. I love you. Jesus Christ is King. Have a beautiful day, but expect chaos, because that is the plan in the United States of America. Take advantage of it. Go 1000X, create cash flows, get into real assets with no bank debt, and join communities like ours of like minds for protection and prosperity as we now live through really this tumultuous time in American history. It's not like it hasn't happened before. I mean, Great Depression, World War I, World War II, I mean, Vietnam, 2008 and '09, Iraq, Afghanistan, the failed wars, Ukraine, now Israel. The Middle East is completely on fire. And that's all going to be worse, much, much worse in the next 4 years. Total chaos, total pandemonium, total panic. And it will make 2020 look like a church freaking picnic. Do not comply. Do not comply. I love you all. Jesus Christ, of course, is Lord.